Hola, mi gente. Welcome to the 2025 Latinx Kidlit Book Festival. Don't forget to subscribe to our festival YouTube channel. And if you're an educator joining us, our school visit fund is back. You can enter to win a free visit from a Latinx author or illustrator for your classroom or library. You can find the link to enter at latinxkidlitbookfestival.org. I'm Justin Colón.
And I'm Claudia Guadalupe Martínez.
And thank you for joining us today for our story time. We're going to share our stories with you today, starting with my book, The Zombees, written by me and illustrated by Kaylee Quarles.
Now, Justin, zombies are real?
Zombie bees are real. Yes, zombies are bees that have had eggs laid in them by a parasitic fly. And when the eggs hatch, they become larvae, like little grubs, and they essentially feed on the bee, and the bee's behavior changes and it starts acting weird until sadly the bee dies, and then those larvae become more of those flies and the process repeats. So zombie bees are a real thing. But the zombie bees in this book are not quite as scary. They're a little bit different, I promise.
Okay.
Have to read to the end to find out. Okay, this is The Zombees, again by me, Justin Colón, and illustrated by Kaylee Quarles. To the left is our dedication page. I dedicated the book to all the spooky souls who hold Halloween in their hearts, because Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year, and Kaylee dedicated the book to her honey Ryan. You get the joke there? Her honey. Here we go. What's that creepy buzzing sound coming from the graveyard ground? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I wonder if it could be those green things floating in the sky. Just beyond that eerie gate, something dreadful lies in wait. Fuzzy limbs escape their tombs, spewing funky, fetid fumes. Whew. P.U. Funky fetid fumes is another way to say it's really, really smelly. One by one, their shadows rise, taking flight toward moonlit skies. And you have to keep an eye on that little worm in the corner because he appears in all the pages. And if you see the hands and they're holding the eyeballs, that's my little cousin Ethan's favorite part of the book. The other day, I asked him what part of the book he liked best, and he said he liked the eyeball in the hands. And he's 3, so it makes sense. But good choice. I like that too. Zombies! Moaning, groaning, they invade. Behold the undead bee parade. Hail the royal zombie queen who leads her swarm of ghastly green. And you see her wearing her crown there. There really are queen bees in a hive. And the queen bee, there's only one. She runs the entire hive. But do you think she really wears a crown in her hive? And that's one of my favorite bees, the one with the brain on him. Zombies drag a glowing sack. Are they hunting for a snack? Do they like the taste of veins? Have they come to eat your brains? You run and scream and shriek in fright and find a shelter out of sight. Where do you think she is? So it's the place where I am recording right now, and hopefully not going to get in trouble for being too loud. Calls are made for skilled recruits. Troops arrive in veils and boots. Now, who do you think those troops are? And in the image above, that's one of my favorites with the cat acting like a zombie walking. I think that's really funny. It makes me laugh every time. Start your smokers, hold them back. Zombies cough, they heave, they hack. Wait a minute, listen, cease. What do we think cease means? We mean no harm, we come in peace. They fetch their sack before your eyes, for deep inside is their surprise. And it says zombie snacks on it. What do we think that could be? And that, my friends, is where we are going to end our read today. So I will leave you wondering what is in the sack and why have the zombies really invaded town? Are they up to no good or is it something else? You have to read on to find out.
Justin, I really love that Easter egg about the little worm, especially after you told us the story of what an actual zombie bee is. What a cute little detail to have on every page.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what they actually eat?
Yeah, so first of all, I will say all the credit goes to the illustrator Kaylee. She came up with that really fun idea of having the worm on every page. I love that. If you go back on all the pages, there's all really fun little details. So that was all Kaylee's idea. And what do zombie bees really eat? So I don't know about zombie bees. Maybe they don't even eat anymore in real life because of what the flies do to them. But in real life, bees go to flowers because they collect nectar and pollen. And the nectar is like sweet, sugary syrup, and that is what they use to make honey. And the pollen is what they use to make something called bee bread, but they're not actually baking it in an oven. They're making it, they're kind of spitting it out, chewing it up, mixing it with other things, and they feed it to the babies. And that helps give them the energy, and they eat it themselves. That gives them the energy to keep flying and searching for new flowers because it takes thousands and thousands of flowers just to produce a tiny, like, drop of a teaspoon of honey. So they have to work really hard just to make honey. So that's why they need a lot of flowers, and that's what they eat.
That is really cool. I'm really glad it's not brains. But you know this not because you necessarily went out and read a book, but you know this because you have a really special thing that you do aside from writing books, right?
Yes, I am a beekeeper who I catch wild bees and help transport them to other places so that they're safe because sometimes they go in people's property during certain times of the year and people are scared, and I help relocate the bees. And I used to keep hives in my backyard. And at one point, I had like 80,000 bees. And the wild thing is, I found out that I'm actually allergic to bees. But I didn't know
Oh,
that when I became a beekeeper. But the good thing is, bees are actually really nice and they're not looking to attack us. I know many people are scared of bees, but they're actually not very aggressive. They like to do their own thing and they will only attack if they're defending themselves. So, Claudia, I'm excited for your book. What are you reading today?
so I am reading Not a Dog, and this is actually the third book in a series. So you can see the books behind me, Not a Bean and Not a Monster. It's a series of books that talk about animals that are somehow in peril because of things going on in the environment. And in this case, it is not a dog, which is, if it's not a dog, it's a prairie dog. And so I will just go ahead and jump in and read my book. So this is Not a Dog by myself and illustrated by Laura Gonzalez. Laura also illustrated the other two books, and I think she does like just a terrific job. Her animals are so cute, and I've really loved working with her. Let's jump in. In the desert grasslands, where a sign in the shape of a flecha points to Llano de la Soledad, a sprawling colony lies underground. And this is actually a real place. It's in Mexico, it's in northern Mexico. And it's the only place in the world where you will find Mexican prairie dogs. There's black-tailed prairie dogs that also live in Mexico, but that's an entirely different breed. There's 5 breeds. A perrito llanero is born there. This so-called prairie dog is not a dog. You can see them. They're born because they're mammals. They're born without hair. It is a tiny hairless thing nuzzling its mama with a triángulo of its nose. It needs her milk to grow. So again, like mammals, although mammals drink milk. When the perrito is 2 weeks old, its fur comes in. At 4 weeks old, its eyes open. At 6 weeks old, it walks. Its appetite also grows. The milk and fresh grass that its mama brings are not enough. So here it is, finally starting to get hungry for a little bit more than just its mother's milk. The perrito that is not a dog walks from its nesting room through a círculo that leads to a tunnel to search for food. So prairie dog colonies are actually really cool because they're massive. Like they will go on for like hundreds, thousands of miles underground because they basically really love to build rooms. Every single tunnel leads to a new room. A room can be a kitchen, it can be a bathroom, it could be a meeting place, it could be a playroom. They love to build. On the other side, there is a cruz where 4 tunnels connect. To the left is a room for sleeping, to the right is a bathroom, and straight ahead is a room full of other pups. The perrito walks towards them. So there's all the other little pups that were born at the same time, and it's walking towards them. Yeep! Even though it barks a greeting, it is still not a dog. It is a rodent. So one of the really cool things about perritos is that they have a really awesome, very well-developed language, and they can communicate a whole lot just with a little yeep and some body language. They can tell you that Justin is here listening to the story and he's wearing a red hat and glasses, but they won't say it's Justin because they don't know your name, but they'll say there's a man wearing glasses, they're round frames, and he has a red hat. One of these pups hugs the perrito, their bodies form a corazon. So this is actually my favorite drawing of Laura's in the whole book. I love it because if you go out in the wild or even to a zoo and you see a prairie dog colony and you have the pleasure of actually seeing one, they actually hug like this and they kiss, like they touch their little noses together, and it's a really cute thing to see. And it's, if you Google it, there's a lot of pictures out there on the internet of these little guys hugging each other, and just being really affectionate. So they're very affectionate little creatures. And
Do they have big
that's my book.
families?
They do. I mean, with mammals, they can have they have a few. They actually only have pups once a year, and their window of procreation is very small, so they only have baby puppies once a year, and it'll be maybe a litter of 1 or 2, but because there's like hundreds, sometimes thousands of prairie dogs in a colony, you'll have a whole lot of little pups running around at the same time. So
I love that you say that they're communities and they work together, and their burrows are really cool and seem pretty intricate. It's interesting because bees are actually similar in that they have their own hive, which is a colony, but within the colony, everyone from the moment they're born has a job that they're assigned to do. And as they get older, their jobs change, but they all have to work together so that their colony survives. So it's similar. It's a community as well. What inspired you to write this book about prairie dogs, Claudia?
So actually, when I was really young, there was a prairie dog colony behind my school, and I always wanted to see a prairie dog, but I thought they were real dogs, which, in retrospect, I don't know what I was thinking. But it was really cool to explore this as an adult, and just kind of go and jump in and do the research and find out exactly who they are. Yeah.
I love that. If I definitely would have been the kid at recess trying to catch like a glimpse of the prairie dogs. I remember when I was a kid, I was always finding injured wildlife and bringing it home, and my family would tell me, "No more, we are done." I would find every type of creature you could imagine. It doesn't matter if it was in a forest or at the train station in the city. I would bring it home, even pigeons. So that is awesome. Is there a fact about prairie dogs that you find most interesting, or something special you really like about them?
Well, I really like their use of language. I think that they're really incredible that way. We think about really smart animals like octopi and like whales and dolphins, and I think they're right up there with these other creatures. Now, your stories are really imaginative. Can you tell me how your other job lends itself to creating these types of stories?
Sure. My other job is I am an actor, so I'm always bringing characters to life, but I'm bringing other people's stories and characters to life. But in writing, I get to create my own stories and bring those stories to life through my words. The illustrator then helps bring them to life with the art. And then there's one other person, a group of people that help bring the story to life, and that's you, the readers. The readers, the story does not come to life until someone reads it. And that's what I love most about picture books.
That is really cool. I
Yeah.
bet like one of the most rewarding things is to have to see somebody and hear somebody read your words out loud.
Yes, I feel like picture books allow me to be a kid at heart, and I love creating stories for children, right? Because children are our future, and I just enjoy um, writing for them.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
It is very awesome, and how you've used all these different parts of your life to inform this book is really cool.
thank you. And I love your picture book. I'm definitely going to get a copy because I am interested now in learning about prairie dogs.
Thank you. And you know what? My brother is gonna love your book. He's really into bees. So like you guys have that in common, and I think he will really love that. So I think people will see it and think, oh, this is a Halloween book, but it's not, because it's really for anybody who loves bees, who loves finding out something really new and cool about a creature that they never knew.
Definitely.
So
Awesome. Well, this was
um,
fun.
say thank you for attending the Latinx Kidlit Book Festival, and I hope you enjoy some of the other story times. And thank you for joining us.
Bye, everyone.